see how Polaris make it work in this game too. For now though, SMG, they'll go back to the Night Stalker pickup. And now I'm very curious, like, is this going to be an offlane Night Stalker for KP? Are they going to run the Rogi Pos 5 Night Stalker that we've been seeing a couple times? And if it is going to be an offlane Night Stalker, where's the Bloodseeker going?
Yeah, I think if you are running in the Night Stalker offlane, that might have to be a position 1, a mid 1 Bloodseeker coming through from SMG, which we haven't really seen too often. So I'm more inclined to believe that is just Raji's hero on the 5. It still has impact, you know, it still has forward presence to put its body forward. Once nighttime's up, you can play aggressive, and once you have Dark Ascension, you can kind of work the map to your favor, get aggressive with your team, and play from there. Polaris do have a good response in the Phoenix, so Silencer's not going to melt the egg. If you do get your spirits off, Bloodseeker's not going to melt the egg. Neither is the Night Stalker. So you're kind of protected with that Phoenix pickup. You can kind of play with a team fight, although there's no good setup for the egg. Besides Rolling Thunder, I suppose. That could be one way. Just chain stunning them in a tight spot where the Pangolier can do U-turns. And just get the follow-up stun in the egg. Not particularly amazing. Polaris do also pick up the Beastmaster, though, which is still really strong. Like it still has the spikes with the Helm of the Overlord, although that was slightly nerfed. And the Beastmaster itself, I think there's some re-emphasis on the Axis. We have seen a couple of people play with, so we'll see if that's something that comes out. Because of the level 15 talent spike feels pretty funny. Like you get the Axis damage talent there, plus 2.5% per stack. So you could opt for it, but that also necessitates an Ags build, which we don't see. So who knows if that brings back the Ags. SMG, Grimstroke up. They've got the combination of Night Stalker, so it's maybe now just a Night Stalker offlane, possible Bloodseeker. Now, you could also just do the KP offlane Silencer, or the Moon mid Silencer, and run the Night Stalker Grimstroke as supports. That could still be an option, while also putting the Bloodseeker offlane with a mid Silencer. So, still a lot of flexibility in closing out for SMG, and they do have last pick overall. So Polaris will have to read their draft a little bit better so they're not caught off guard.
I think flexibility is kind of the almost the key word here in these patches, right? Like 7.30, it just feels like everything can be everywhere right now, which is, I suppose, is very standard for a new patch. You do just kind of want to experiment with different heroes, and some heroes just get away with being strong in a weird position for a couple months before people realize it can easily be countered. Yeah, Polaris, 48 seconds reserve time left to make this final ban. They are seemingly still getting rid of position 1s, so they don't seem to believe it is going to be a position 1 Bloodseeker. I personally don't like that position 1 either. I think Bloodseeker is very lackluster, but now they get rid of the Keeper of the Light, so it seems as though Polaris just aren't very sure as to what could be going on. In SMG, they'll get rid of the TA. So I suppose for Polaris, it's a bit more self-explanatory. They are looking for a mid laner of some sort. Highly doubt we're seeing the mid Gyrocopter coming out. So it should be just some kind of mid lane. SMG, definitely a lot more confusing on their end of things with their draft. Have to wait and see what they get up to. I mean, you could really see pretty much any of these heroes going anywhere right now on SMG, apart from maybe the Grimstroke. But then again, we have seen mid Grimstroke before as well, so I can't even say that.
It is a possibility for SMG. Polaris just looking like they need their own mid, as mentioned. I mean, Ember's there, Void Spirit's there if you really want just a stable sort of mid to play with. And that can still play fast. It plays with your Beastmaster timing quite nicely. We'll have to see. They don't have too much reserve time here to pick that Mac hero up. And again, they've got to be cautious because of that flexing from SMG. They do go with the Ember in the end, so they play it safe. They just take a stable pause 1. The hold from SMG is decent enough, and they do go with a Morphling. So, yeah, they close out the Morph. That should be our mid 1 hero. Yeah, and it's a Moon Silencer still. So it is the mid Silencer, offlane Night Stalker, support Bloodseeker. Hear me out. If they do put Moon and Raji, or if they do have Raji rotate to Moon early on,
you
buff up the Silencer for the spell amp. That sounds so dumb. It sounds really strong, but that spell amplification, you never see that leveled up early though, so probably not. But I love the possibility of it. It sounds pretty busted.
That it does. I mean, I don't doubt that we might see that, John. I think Rogi's one of those position 5 players. Like, he just continues to pick these really strange core heroes for the position 5 role. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Pos 5 Bloodseeker, honestly, I'd rather see that than a position 1 Bloodseeker. I'll be quite frank with you, John. I think, at least in the Pos 5, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. He can spam a few Blood Riots, he can get his Rupture out, and he can die in a team fight. Like, that's pretty much his job, it seems like. And you might be right. He might be able to amp up some spell damage for Moon. We'll have to wait and see. I want to go back to the Mac Ember as well, John. Ember receiving a buff. I believe his Agi got buffed from 3.6 per level to 3.9. So definitely a pretty decent buff there for the Ember. There was another one as well. It was the base health regen going up by 0.25, which is, it's whatever with that one. But I think any form of base regen going up is always going to be a little bit of a bonus, especially when you are playing solo mid. Yeah, I think Ember, it's already one of those heroes that always kind of teeters between not being in meta and very meta. And I think with these very incremental buffs, it may just become very meta once again.
Yeah, I think we've seen an uptick on Ember since the patch came in anyway. We see that matchup. Even before the patch, it was already fairly popular with the phase boots and Maelstrom or corrosion timing that you play with, focusing mainly on the physical output. And then down the line, you get Ags, you get Refresh, you have a lot of Spirits, just a lot of good small power spikes throughout the game. And just fixing up, touching up on its laning phase like this, giving it a little bit more regen, a little bit more agi gain, just gets it a lot better. So we'll see if Matt can really use those small changes to his advantage, if it does feel stronger for him in his matchup. I don't know if that lane's going to be easy. Up against Silencer, you are reliant on spamming your spells there on the Ember. You can block off some of the early damage with a Flame Guard build, so you should expect just Flame Guard being prioritized to block off a ton of what Moon wants to do. But I don't think Moon's going to mind. As levels go up, and the Flame Guard cooldown is consistently long at half a minute, at 35 seconds to be exact, and Last Word and Arcane Curse both scale down. So you have more uptime on your harassment and damage output anyway on the Silencer.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. The Flame Guard's nice and all, but, definitely not going to be, the be-all, end-all here for Moon. I'm sure he'll be just fine and still be able to get that massive harassment out. And we've seen this before as well. SMG, they tend to group up, go into the mid lane, start trying to scout out those observer wards. Mac is going to be around. Rogi will have a bit of a gander. Sentry is going to be on the mark. They'll have to kind of group up to make sure they get it, and they do. Nice pickup for the side of SMG. And Natsumi, the rest of Polaris, they're going to be able to get a bit of harassment, but nothing too big. They're going to be able to heal up before they get to the lane. So it's really not an issue whatsoever for SMG. A bit of a disadvantage, though, for poor old Mac, who's going to be left without an observer ward now.
Yeah, gonna set him back a bit in rune control. I suppose for the first 4 minutes, it's really just Watt runes, so unless an early rotation comes out from SMG, not gonna be a big factor. You see some scuffling over the runes once more, though.
Bloodrike gonna zone the mount. Mac, he'll have to back. Boomy gonna try and get a few Fire Spirits off, but that's gonna be about it. It's like he's gonna walk away with the rest of the Fire Spirit duration. Unfortunately, that will probably mean he won't have them to start off the lane immediately, but not too big of a deal. Still was a 2-for-2 trade on the bounties. And I suppose we will start with this top lane, where you do see Nico there with Boomy on the Phoenix. They are going to be against mid one once again on the Morphling, and of course you are going to have Rogi on the Bloodseeker. So this Pos 5 Bloodseeker, we're yet to see how powerful it really is. I suppose spamming Blood Right's always going to be kind of nice. We'll see how he does manage to use it though, because you don't necessarily want to push the lane too far when you are playing with a position 1 Morphling. For now, it does seem like he's just going to try and get as much harassment onto Nico as he possibly can with that. But as you can see, they're able to easily kind of push him back.
Yeah, it's not an easy time laning against a Beastmaster as a melee hero for Raji, as a melee support. Very hard for him to gap close. He was focusing on the boars. He did take one out, so that's something, but you still have to be cautious about the damage output of Boomy as well with Fire Spirits. Level 1, not amazing yet. Once you hit level 2 Fire Spirits, that's when it really gets spicy.
Yeah, bot lane, KP ends up dropping Natsumi. That's a great kill to secure for your first blood. Bonus gold to go the way of the Gyrocopter. And to top it all off, it is on the position 3 Night Stalker, so definitely great news here for Polaris to get this game one started. However, top lane looks like Boomy is going to drop very low, and Rogi, he'll be the one to take the kill on the Bloodseeker. Just didn't really have faith that mid one was going to be able to reach for the attack. Unfortunately, he did, but it was already too late.
Yeah, I think that's the spike you have to watch out for in the lane. And when you're a Phoenix specifically against Bloodseeker, all your spells cost HP, and once the Bloodseeker hits level 2 with a value point and thirst, he can actually trade a little bit better. He can chase you, he has added attack speed as well. It gets very hard to hold back that Bloodseeker, and you have to kind of watch how you use your spells on Boomy's end. It's not easy as well, even if with the Icarus dive, as that's even more HP lost. So it's even more move speed for Raj to harass out. They are still off to a slightly slower lane. Mid one's not getting as much farm as you'd expect, but he's not really slowed down by Nico all too much. And for the most part, he's getting solo EXP on the Morphling. So he's going to hit his level 3. After we hit at 2, makes it hard to zone him out.
Bottom lane, Natsumi able to claim a second kill already. Kind of missed out on that one, but definitely, again, a great start here for Natsumi. It did buy KP a bit of space to catch up in terms of CS and the Night Stalker, so it's not all bad for SMG in this off lane, but I really don't think you want to give bonus gold the way of the Gyrocopter. So this hero does tend to farm pretty fast as well, and just needs items to be very powerful. Giving him that bonus gold to get him started for this game 1, or rather game 2, never going to feel quite good. Mid lane though, Mac going to be chased down. Moon, he does actually go for the Glaives of Wisdom now. So not bothering with the last word builder. Seems to believe the Glaives are the way to go. And all fairness to him, John, he's doing a hell of a lot of damage.
He's getting good damage out. He's not able to keep up in CS. Mac is definitely ahead in that mid lane in terms of creeps so far. 18-1 up against our silencers, 12-3. So he's not really able to get that quick farm you'd want, but the levels are coming up. And I think that's the more important bit for the silencer anyway. You want to hit your level 6, level 7 spike. If you do skip that global silence, that's when the damage output really kicks into gear. With the emphasis on glaives, that does mean that the durability afforded to you by Flame Guard doesn't feel as amazing, so I guess that is one way to keep that Ember in check.
Oh, SMG, they need to help mid one out here. Mid one is going to strength morph and TP back to the tier 1 tower. In the end, he will remain safe, but the pressure being applied at this top lane is really starting to ramp up from the end of Polaris. So, SMG definitely being a little bit more cautious. Rogi, he had the salve ready anyway, so just max Agi morph into the salve and get as much value as possible. But this offlane's proving to be very strong again from this Radiant side.
Yeah, and Nico's set for really good timing onto that Helm of the Dominator. After that, likely the Overlord. So that's when the push gets into gear, and that's when that top tier 1 should melt. That's something mid 1 should be a bit cautious about. His farm is still really good, 21-7. So despite all the aggression, he's not really stopped from getting the CS up. And eventually he will dip into the jungle. But when you're up against a Beastmaster, there are always Hawks to scout out. Although Boomy...
Yeah, he's in a spot of danger. Rogi not going to be able to continue the chase past the tier 1 tower. Nico's going to really give him some harassment back on the Beastmaster. Mid 1. Strength more things out. Waveform back the way of the ball. Wanted that XP in gold, but can't go after Boomy. Blood Right's there. Nico's still trying to fight this one out, but he's starting to drop low. Fire Spirits, they'll be committed as well. Mid one now, he's starting to really get low and run out of strength, and it looks like they might just have his number. And they will. So Nico and Boomy really knowing how far to push their heroes there in that engagement. And it does pay off.
Yeah, they managed to punish how far SMG's willing to dive with a Morphling. That early aggression could have gone either way. Mid one did have his courier with boots waiting, but he couldn't deliver it in the middle of the fight.
Global Silence mid lane. Moon's been jumped. They've already got the Flame Guard out, so it's going to be plenty of damage there from Polaris. And well, SMG, they'll lose another core. In fact, bottom lane now, Natsumi, he's going to be in a spot of danger. Does eventually go down to KP, so they do at least get something for their trouble.
Yeah, it's the first nighttime. Combination with the Inkswell, with how fast the Night Stalker is at first night, so they just abuse that, get the kill. I don't think you mind on Polaris' end, considering what you're getting on your side lanes. Mac, he finds the Haste Rune. That's a signal for him to get that rotation bot.
Natsumi's going to TP in for the homing missile out onto KP, and they should have more than enough, although Mac almost misses out. Does eventually get the chains though, and well, that'll definitely be more than enough for him to claim the kill on the Ember. Geez, top lane, I just having a gander because mid one is constantly so low in HP. But he's able to survive as it looks like they might start to harass out Boomy a little, or rather Rogi a little bit. And Boomy the one providing the harassment. Rogi, you're at that point as the pos 5 Bloodseeker where you really can't do much in the lane anymore. He'll just go to stacking, but even then Boomy's going to be a bit of a nuisance and just make sure that he can't do it freely.
Yep. Again, there are Hawks here because there's a Beastmaster in the game. So it's not like you could get stacks for free on SMG's part. And this is something we've seen Polaris punish well. Even in the last game, they were always willing to go in that jungle early.
Call down is there after. In trouble, call down, it'll get it done. Inkswell though, KP, it lands on 2 and Natsumi. He's been cursed up. He's a little bit slower, but with the Rocket Barrage, he can fight back. And he does do so. Eventually, he will die, but it won't matter. They even got CML. And now, Moon, he will drop. Rogi, he'll try, but nice blood right dodge there from Mac and Rogi. With the Sunray out, should definitely go down. And eventually does. A 2-for-3 trade. You've got so many kills going the way of Natsumi. And Mac, he'll just claim a double.
Yeah, it's a huge start for Polaris. 9-4. SMG, the early presence of their Bloodseeker support just doesn't do enough. You are getting a little bit on your silencer. You know, he is trying to rush the Midas here on Moon, so he wants that stable farm and EXP gain. Still a ways off. About 1,100 gold, so gonna have to find a way to get that done. They are grouping down bot again though.
Yeah, Curse is there, last word committed, and now the global silence, all of it being thrown out onto the gyrocopter. And it's one of the things, even with those last team fights that happened, they are still very, very strong on SMG, and they are able to just group up and run down Natsumi.
Yeah, and the side of Polaris are trying to do the same up top. Mid one is all alone.
Chains are out, but he can just strength more waveform away. Boomy, still gonna chase him down, but Mac only really had one remnant left and no chains to throw out, so mid one not gonna die. It's gonna be fine to back off, but I suppose they do slow down his farm a bit, so there's that.
I think they had to start with Nico. With a roar, he doesn't have boots, so it takes him a bit longer to walk up. And they don't manage to find that kill. If Nico started with roar, they follow up with the chains, they might have had enough damage, but unfortunately doesn't line up. They will go for the top tier 1 push. Dominator flying in for Nico, so he doesn't have the creep yet, but they are getting substantial damage out just with these 3 heroes committing right clicks. Bot lane is also being pressured though, so it's going to be a direct 1-for-1 trade.
CML, the Dark Ascension popped with the Inkswell out, and that'll mean the Pango certainly going to die, and Moon, he'll be more than happy to take the int away. And unlike the other support silencers we've seen, the int does mean quite a lot here for the core silencer. So Moon definitely wants to rack up as much as possible. And he's off to a decent start right now. 8 permanent int being taken away. We'll see how much he can keep up with this and how much value he's going to get at the end of the game.
Yeah, just amps up his right click, of course, and just allows him to pressure a lot more in the trades. His Midas is almost up, surprisingly. After those 2 kills, he has been building up from hanging in the bot lane. He managed to snag away the haste, but Mac is still, well, he almost tried to commit, but the Warden Triangle did tell him that there could be a wraparound, seeing Moon was just from that area. So far, even in terms of map control, rather even in net worth as well. Less than 1k lead on Polaris' side. They are about to hit their spikes. Again, with Dominator up, Nico should be looking to pressure even more on some key objectives. I think the mid's going to be their next target. The side of SMG are avoiding fights quite nicely and forcing it just with Moon. So Moon's the core kind of putting his body in front, just using GS every time he has it and getting damage off for his team.
You're going to start feeling very scared as well. The timing for Polaris, that the big power spikes are about to come online. Especially once that Helm of the Overlord's available, but at least for now, even with the Helm of the Dominator, you're going to be very, very strong on the Beastmaster. And in they move. That tier 1 mid tower, not going to be very safe. Siege Creep going to remain protected. And SMG, they realize they can't really defend this with confidence, so they are going to let it go down. And now the invasion begins. Polaris, not going to allow this dire jungle to be freely farmed up by the Morphling anymore. Mid 1, he did experience this last game as well, so probably will be kind of used to it by now. And in fact, I say they invaded the dire jungle, but the rest of Polaris have moved down to the bot lane where Mac is going to have a look around for KP. Sleight of Fist will give the vision, and now the pig out, not going to help too much. The CML is in with the Rolling Thunder, and eventually they'll have the control to make sure KP drops, as he won't have the Dark Ascension to use to try and escape. Another nice pickup here from our Radiant team.
Yeah, really nice kill. Applying pressure into Night Stalker's timings. He's just trying to rush a BKB, still ways off. Polaris seeing the Rolling Thunder and a couple rotations bot though, do smoke up. They could get a nice kill here on Natsumi if he doesn't back off.
Now he's going into the tree line. Reads the movement. TPs are up and available, but they are checking the tree line. Arfu gonna have his smoke broken. Natsumi, he was too patient. Or was he? The rest of his team are there to back him up now. Rupture is out on CML. Soulbind to be committed with the silence out. They'd love the Ember kill. We'll see if they can get it though. Global silence is going to wear out. Mac, he is still alive and Remnants out in time. So Natsumi, he has been left behind. But Boomy gonna go for the Icarus dive and egg play. Where's the help though? Nico, he'll sneak in from the backside. Nice roar out. Boomy's gonna double. Moon, he can't finish off the egg in time. They'll get another kill going. Mid one, he'll be forced to TP out. KP, he will not be so lucky to do the same. 4 going down for the side of SMG. Polaris, they lost 2 and they do lose Natsumi in the end, but you've got to be satisfied with that trade.
Yeah, definitely a much better trade for Polaris. SMG, a couple of things not quite lining up. The Soulbind flew out after the Rupture. I think if they had double Rupture, you might have been able to pressure that Ember a little bit more. And maybe had enough damage to kill him off if he was a bit careless with the Remnant usage. In the end, SMG, they are starting to play at the deficit here. 3k lead for Polaris coming up. Most of that riding on Mac and Natsumi. Both of these scores fairly farmed up. Natsumi already with the Crystallis does hit hard. And once again, I'm reminded of Palos on Boom. He did this exact same build. There are no big buffs coming through, but with the attack speed aura you're getting from Nico anyway, eventually with a Vlad's aura as well and the Overlord, this will pay off. And they're just applying that pressure. They're eyeing the tier 2 top now.
Yeah, and Arfu's probably not going to get out of this. Or maybe he does, because he does have a TP up. And Nico won't have any way to cancel. Nice little TP away, heads up thinking from our Grimstroke. The Polaris, they are certainly going to be able to just set up on this tier 1 tower. Siege creep or not, they do at least get the glyph forced out. Looks like that's going to be enough though. They'll come back later on as KP, meanwhile, in the mid lane, does go after Mac with the Crippling Fear, but in the end won't pop the Dark Ascension because it was on cooldown. Won't be able to try and secure the kill on the Ember. But a big smoke up now, Polaris. They might find the Night Stalker, KP. Nico, roar up, does manage to get it off in time, and Boomy, he's on the high ground already to scout out for the team. Of course, KP, he has no way out of that. Bot lane, they will try to force in the tier 2 tower, but Boomy immediately is going to respond to the Phoenix, and that's going to be enough to force mid 1 back.
Yeah, really just good movement out from Polaris. They're just applying a lot of pressure on SMG. For SMG's part, they're still getting some space out for mid 1. And I guess in the end, as long as your Morphling doesn't die, you're happy, although.
Yeah, Arfu. Oh, mad dodge. Another illusion dodge wasn't enough, but it won't matter. Mac able to claim another kill on the Ember. Currently 7-0-4 on this Ember Spirit. He's been having a fantastic game. And it's down bot where they've already got Roger down mid 1. He'll try to focus the egg and does get it, but now needs to TP out. Chains are not up, and in fact, they don't have a TP cancel. So mid 1, he loses his pos 5. He'll at least find the opposing position 4. It's not too bad of a trade here for SMG.
It's an important kill for mid 1 to find. Helps him finish up the SNY. So he's got some stat resist, a little bit more agi to play with, and that should help him frontline, join his team out, and protect himself from ganks in the Dark Ascension.
It's popped. They'd love to get Nico here. Nico, gonna be stalked by KP. Eventually, Crippling Fear is gonna be popped. I don't believe Roar's up anyway. It is about 15 seconds away. Global Silence will also be committed. It's a lot of commitment here for this Beastmaster. Nico's still trying to fight back with his units. Rolling Thunder to fly through. They will get Nico in the end, but they are probably going to lose KP, and they do. Mid 1, he'll move in right onto Natsumi with the flat cannons out. They get Boomy down immediately on the Phoenix. He's just bursted down. They even found another in the form of CML. Mac, he's been ruptured up. He'll be forced to BKB and try to man fight mid 1, but eventually tries to Ember away. Does get out. SMG, still a great team fight. 3 for 1. They'll be happy with that.
They needed that. And you're seeing, again, morphling into gyro. You can turn into the gyrocopter, grab flak, use the spells, get a lot of damage off. Something that Polaris will have to just constantly face against, especially since mid 1 is going for a right-click build. Natsumi once more.
Inkswell will not land. They can't keep up. In fact, Mac now does join in the fray. Chains were out. Homing missile will follow him down. Rogi pretty darn low, but mid 1. He'll go back in on the Ember. KB now with the crippling fear, and that's another massive kill. That was the first death for Mac this game. Does give the wicked 6 spree away to Arfools. Now KP, he wants more. It's still nighttime after all. Boomy, he does have the egg, but he doesn't have a good angle to pop it. He may be forced to, but mid 1, he will keep chasing him down, and he wants that egg to be forced out. And Boomy, in the end, will hold on to it, but will end up dropping. As Raw is committed by Nico, but SMG, they are still wanting to go forward. The rupture is there on Nico, and eventually the last word will be enough from Moon to secure the kill as SMG, just all of a sudden, really cleaning up the side of Polaris Esports. And they just seemingly are unable to fight back.
It's just down to mid 1 finally having the SNY, and it's just such a key item for a fast fighting morph. He gets to stand there, even though the stat resist values were slightly nerfed, it's still really good. And, it's hard to hold him down. He's durable enough with all the help coming through from SMG. The silences are just amplifying Moon's output with that arcane curse. And our silencer is rushing the Ags, so he's going to have AoE last word fairly soon, although it's still a ways off in the triangle, though.
One can away, form away. Mac, nice double chains out right on the edge, and now the blood right, trying to protect. Soulbind is there. Arfu, he'll hold them back as mid 1 with the Inkswell will be able to just get out of the sun ray. It's now Moon though. He's been caught out. Chains are there. Moon, yeah, he's in danger. He's just been left behind. Boomy, I mean, he might eventually die to the curse, and it looks like he is gonna pop the egg. I mean, he just wants to stay alive. Why the hell not?
Yeah, gets to live through. Roche started by Polaris. They're still eyeing out heroes in the jungle, though.
Well, Egg is down now, so they might be able to fight back on SMG, but Rogi is going to get caught out. KP moves in to help out. Nice crippling fear. They'll get CML as well as mid 1. He does morph into the Ember to have the Flame Guard and the Slider Fist. And we'll try to chase down the side of Polaris now. Chains are also available. Mid 1, he'll get one off onto Mac, hold him down and take him out. The nice Slider Fist and Remnant away, but the Adaptive still following him down and does get him.
Oh.
Beautiful shot from mid 1 from half a map away. And they're back onto the Roshan.
Yeah, it was started by Polaris. SMG looking to end it on their terms. They are fairly low in KP and they are still clumped around the area. So they could try to force a fight. Their AoE spells are still down. So it's a bit tricky, but Rolling Thunder's there if CML can find an angle.
Waveform forward, mid 1 just so confident to move in. However, he's dropping a lot of HP. He'll survive with the strength morph. He'll be just fine, but Boomy will not. As KP will finish the job off, and now he's on to Nico. It's Natsumi left behind. They'll buy back on Boomy, but Natsumi's already dropping. CML trying to help, but it won't be enough. They at least get KP down on the Night Stalker, but it still seems like a very favorable trade for SMG, and they'll just back off. They save the Roshan to boot.
Yeah, they prevent any further forays from Polaris. For Polaris's part, this does mean that by the time the Night Stalker and Silencer are back up, they're going to have Egg. So if they did choose to try to force a Roshan at that timing, Polaris can fight once more. They've got the call down ready. Even the Rolling Thunder should be up within that time period. So SMG's still going to have to watch themselves. They're not going to be able to try to snag the Roche at this point. But they are still getting stable farm. Mid 1 still number 1 in that word. He is pulling ahead of Natsumi now. 1k gold on that Morphling. Not a massive amount, but it is shaping up. He's going to be able to have the Scotty timing on point. And with all the stats Mid 1 will have with the healing reduction, it is going to hurt the Gyrocopter especially a fair bit. Like the healing coming through from Boomy is not going to feel amazing with the Sunray. The only real counterpoint to that is Satanic, as we've seen time and time again. And that is still a ways off for our Gyro. Rushing the BKB first to not be held down by the Global Silence. That is going to be rather helpful. Polaris, they've got the Hawks around the Roche pit. They can get started here.
Yeah, and then they will. Superior vision is key for the Roshan, but again, SMG, they are unwilling to let this one go down. Still the first Roshan of the game, but you see, it's still very, very important with that Aegis. They just want to buy a bit more time for mid one to have the full eye of Skadi up on this Morphling, and then they can really take a confident fight. They do have all ultis up on both teams, so you can imagine both of them want to try and move in now. And for now, Polaris, they're going to just hold the high ground, wait for that perfect moment. Mid one, not the target they can really afford to start on. I mean, preferably, you'd rather probably get Moon on the silencer and just get rid of that global silence. CML, he's going to get ruptured up. KP, he's going to move in with the Inkswell and the Dark Ascension. They've got the Pango. He has buyback, but they might be able to force it with the Roshan fight.
That does set SMG up to get more control around the pit. They get the D wards off as well, so they can get started. There's still a Hawk watching them, and should be enough information coming through from Nico to let them know when to jump in and kind of shaped up for it.
They are. Roshan slowly but surely going down. Boomy going to pop the egg. Remnant in now as well from Mac. They are a bit too early to the party, and their egg is already gone. Meanwhile, Mac still trying to fight over this Roshan, and he does get it. The Aegis is snatched away from the Ember, and Arfu's going to drop. Soulbind, though, does hold both of them down, and they've got the first life. Mid one, no, the Raw's out. Nico will not allow the chains on Mac, but the chains, they're still going to come out. Mid one, he'll hold them down, and now Mac still trying to remnant away. Nico, he'll be the casualty of war, but they do at least get the Ember out, as now Natsumi going to try and run, but no, the chains out again. Mid one, morphing so darn well, and now gets the triple kill. Oh, just beautiful play from the Morphling. He did absolutely everything that team fight, John. No help required for mid one.
Yeah, he weaved outside to help break the egg. He comes back in. They lose the Aegis, sure. But they immediately take it out anyway. I don't think SMG is going to be looking at that as an issue at all. They get more stacks of int out onto their silencer as well. Moon, his Ags up. So now he's got that AoE last word. If this game drags on till level 25, last word with silence and mute. You can't tell me that's not busted at that point. That's always going to be very, very hard to play against.
I hope it happens, John. I want to get to that stage because it's just going to be hilarious to watch it. Everyone knows it's busted. But the point is, you've got to get to the level 25 mark, and as a silencer with barely any wave clear, it's pretty hard to do. Mind you, I guess he does have some wave clear now with the Aghanim Scepter up, so, you know, last word, AoE ability, it's something. Almost level 20 now, but still a while away for that 25 mark. SMG, they're going to group up. 4-man smoke. Mid one, he's going to be left behind. They'd love to set up for that bottom tier 2 tower now for SMG. Pings are coming out for that mid lane, but again, Polaris, they're just going to hang around that triangle. No need to rush. Still going to get more farm up on Natsumi. Just needs that BKB to be able to comfortably stand there and fight. SMG, they'll still be able to. Well, they get an Overlord creep. That's something. 250 gold to go the way of Moon, and it looks like they are eventually just going to go back and set up onto that bottom tier 2 tower.
They've got control in this position. Could give them the outpost as well, taking the first tier 2 of the game. Polaris can try to do the same up top. And they're going to get that shove in as well. So looking to be a tier 2 for tier 2 trade. It does feel slightly better for Polaris, as the dire outpost is a lot more important, especially for the Roche control down the line. Issue is there's no Roshan for 5 minutes at least. So you're not really going to be able to use that for another objective, and that should allow SMG some leeway to just force high ground. They don't have 2 lives though. Got to be a bit cautious.
Buff up on mid one. They give him the Blood Rage. So it takes a fair bit of damage when he's Agimorph that much, but now he has a Satanic up as well. So more defensive utility there for mid one on the Morph. Much harder to kill, especially when he's got that Flak Cannon available. And in the meantime, Nico does take the top tier 2 tower. No contest, but he's going to go for the outpost. That's going to cost him. Dark Ascension popped. He knows he's in trouble. Definitely a bit of a greedier play there from Nico. Perhaps assuming SMG was still hanging around the bot side of the map. And I suppose on the brighter side, dying like that is going to create a lot of space for his team to just farm up the jungle. But SMG, they intend to not allow that. They do go straight in to a smoke into the mid lane where Rogi has been caught out, but he's not dead yet. Remnants forward, Mac gets it done. They should at least be able to get Boomy, and they do.
Yep, it's not the biggest kill, but it does pile on with that Beastmaster pickoff they took, and of course you get more int on Moon. 26 stacks now on that silencer. Not amazing, but it is almost an int per minute, so it's still something, although Moon has to be slightly cautious.
Last words out, gets the silence out onto Mac, but he's got the BKB up, and he's going to try and fight Moon here. TP? No, it's not going to be successful. Mac, he's just got plenty of damage. Nice attempt, but not even close.
They do manage to take the mid tier 2 off the back of that movement. So it's clearing out more of the map away from Polaris. They retake the bot outpost as well on SMG's part. And they're going to start collapsing. TPs are out from the side of Polaris. Looks like no one is going to get caught out. So they trade away their tier 2 for a silencer kill. Overall, it feels a little bit better for Polaris, as that is a pretty pivotal kill to slow down the pace of that silencer just a bit more and get some gold going on your gyrocopter and your Ember. The Ags is up on Mac. So he has more uptime with the Remnant charges. He's got way more mobility out now. That is something you can abuse very nicely with a Hawks here from Nico. And that is that second spike for the Ember. Although SMG, they are still sort of on the hunt. KP already popping that Crippling Fear. Doesn't have the Dark Ascension though, so there's no free patting in. They're going to have to respond to the Ancient Granite Golem just split pushing the wave.
Yeah, that it is. Nico doing a pretty darn good job of forcing back SMG, and that's actually a classic SMG play, right? To just keep the bot lane pushed in and not allow the enemy team to ever feel comfortable moving in to the other side of the map. And they kind of return the favor here against SMG. Of course, it's going to buy even more time now for Polaris to secure more farm on Natsumi, who is slowly catching up in terms of net worth. Almost at that data list, but looks like he is going to choose to go for the Satanic build up first. And again, I think defensive utility is the name of the game right now for your carry player. So they are definitely going to go down that route. You are probably going to be lacking some damage, and I suppose mid one already kind of has the answer with the Eye of Skadi, but the Satanic with the Paladin sword on top is still going to be a hell of a lot of lifesteal. It's not going to matter too much with the Eye of Skadi up. Still, we'll see if they respond to this top push.
It's their last outer tower. They do send Mac in, but he's highly mobile, so it's not really a risk. It doesn't look like they're going to get the full commitment out. So, the map now pretty naked for the side of Polaris. They don't have outside access anymore outside of their outpost. And they did go for the outpost trade earlier on, so they only have the bot outpost, not the top, which makes it tricky to angle for that next Roshan or just spot out the next Rosh as well. Again, they do still have good wards, at the least near that top outpost, and they still have the Hawks to play with. But I think SMG will just look to pressure every lane. Keep the wave shoved in. Maybe just wait for next Roshan if they want to play it safe, and just go from there.
We'll see. A mid lane. Polaris. They move in with their own smoke. They want to move into that triangle, it seems, and try to get behind Natsumi, but Boomy was spotted. Smoke was broken, but Crippling Fear not on the mark. Still KP going to chase him down. Boomy, BKB TP will be enough. However, Natsumi has been left behind. He'll BKB TP himself. Do they have the damage? Not quite. He'll barely survive. BKB's been committed, but it's well worth your life, and it seems like both teams are kind of have this gentleman's agreement to maybe wait for this next Roshan before they try to go high ground. At least for SMG, they at least want to pick off. And Natsumi, he has no BKB. Mid lane, they're going to have to commit everything to try and help him out. Roar is there with the egg. It might be enough as KP now needs to back, but gets caught out. So maybe a bit of a bait play there from Polaris, is they do find the Night Stalker, and they'll find an extra. Mac, nice chains out on Rogi. But mid one will ensure that he remains protected. However, mid lane Moon, an even bigger target, does get caught by Polaris and does get taken down. Luckily for SMG, Roshan's an average timer of 1.5 minutes. Otherwise, that could have been a real disastrous kind of time for SMG.
Yeah, there's enough time for their silencer to be back up and ready for that fight. I think they have to really respect Polaris' pickoff. They can't really jump in and burst down big core like Natsumi with the Satanic up without their Morphling. And mid one was very far away from that engagement.
Nice Hawk dive. Arfu gonna drop, just getting stunned by the Hawk of Nico. Tier 2 mid tower gonna drop. Polaris, no problems there as they're gonna force high ground now. And you'd love to see the buyback committed by Moon. If not, you're gonna at least see a Tier 3 tower going down. See if they're able to defend. In fact, the glyph, is it really gonna be enough? It does seem that way.
Yeah, they play it safe on Polaris' side. I think they see the respawns being fairly close and they realize, right, we probably won't be able to take much after that. Once the respawns are out, there's a big moment to take another fight. They do pass the bottle with the DD onto Natsumi and they do smoke up. So if they manage to catch out those two big cores once more, maybe even just catch out Moon, I think that might be enough to set up for the high ground or just the Roshan, which is coming up soon as well.
That it is.
Dire are scanning.
Scan out from SMG, going to be on target. Boomy, he does get caught in that. Roshan's 1 second away though, and with the double damage rune, you're going to be able to take that very confidently if they want to move in, but they don't have the vision yet. In fact, they might just barely. Where's the Hawks? They've been thrown out into the mid lane, so setting up for the stuns. SMG, gonna get spotted. Dark Ascension is popped. KP, he's right in, but Raw is committed with the egg out. KP, he is dropping very fast, but does barely get away with his life intact. And now they can re-engage. Eggs down, mid one, flat cannon out. Nico is immediately blown up with CML, and now the gyrocopter. Look at the damage out from mid one. Satanic or nothing, he just takes him out so darn quick, and now Boomy's gone. An ultra kill out for mid one. They'd love a rampage, they might just get it. CML, he's gonna try him back, but a rampage is there. Just so quick. They weren't even close.
Yeah, it's the difference with a gyrocopter and Morphling. Morphling's a lot better with his stats, going all into Agi. When he shifts over, pops flag, turns back to Morphling, he does so much more than Natsumi can. And it looked a bit awkward for SMG when they got the global silence after the egg drop. Didn't matter. Mid one's just big enough to carry this game on his back with his damage output. His Daedalus is almost done. Second Grosh is going to be taken by SMG. They're not going to be able to buy back in time. They do have Mac around with these spirits, but it's not going to be there quick enough. They have the Hawks scouting out, so they know the Roche is out. That means SMG do get that second life on mid one. They even give the shard over to mid one, so he's got the multi-shot adaptive strike, just able to really burst down more heroes. SMG now 10k lead, 30-33 at the 34.5 minute mark. No tier 2s to worry about. They can just gun for the high ground, maybe aim for mega creeps, and maybe look for a couple more kills to force a GG.
And the damage just keeps skyrocketing on mid one. Adaptive strikes out, but the right click damage is going to be very, very scary as Mac. Gotta run, sir. Look at that. 1.1k crit from the Morph. However, now he needs the back. Rolling Thunder's there. They might have him, and they've got him. They've got the Aegis down. It just happened so fast. Call down there, mid one. He's going to retreat. They might be able to re-engage now. But no, mid one, again, morphing into the gyro. Just wants the flat cannon available to him. Now he will move in with it, and look at this. Water everywhere. Nico and Natsumi going to have to both back. Waveform in, he wants to go for the man fight. Egg is out though with the Sunray. Mid one might need a back, but no, goes after the Egg. KP though, dropping low. Mac gets him down. Mid one's still the only one fighting. So he will try to back off, but now the Remnant's forward. Mac wants to chain as many as humanly possible, but they got the last word off. They've silenced him up, and the adaptive strikes out are going to be enough to give a double kill over. Back in they go. Mid-racks. Under siege again, Natsumi, he is not safe. He'll try to fight back. Roar is there, hold him down, but mid one taking no damage. Another stun. Sunray, it's not enough. They'll have to buy back. Onto Natsumi and onto Mac, but Mac again is in danger with no remnants available. And mid one, he's more than happy to fight underneath the tier 4 tower. Call down. Does nothing. Arfu, Soulbind. catch a couple out, and last word was there into the double rupture now. That'll make them pretty much sit in their base. They try to get back to the fountain, but Natsumi can't make it. That'll be a dieback immediately on the gyro, and SMG, they're onto the tier 4s. 21, 1, and 7 on the Morphling, only dying once during the laning stage. CML gonna try and move in and delay this Ancient with the Rolling Thunder. Again, it's not looking great for him. Global Silence Pop Moon, he'll have none of it. They'll at least be able to find the Bloodseeker though. Rogi does drop it. Here comes mid one once again onto Mac. He'll be forced to remnant backwards. They've literally just got to play from the fountain. That's their map now. Last words out. Waveform in. Fountain diving. Are we mid one? He does get the kills. He does get the GG calls. My goodness, what a dominant performance here from the Morphling. And SMG, they secure their 2-0 victory for the night. You've got to be happy with that if you're an SMG fan.
Yeah, Polaris, they had a strong start. And we saw almost the same patterns as we saw in game 1. They had a really great early game. They invaded the jungle. They tried to cut off the farm flow of mid 1 and Moon. And to a certain extent, they were successful. They managed to take a tier 2 tower. It ended up in a bit of a trade, though. But as the game scaled on, like they had the gyrocopter against Morphling. In the end, mid 1 is just a better hero because he can turn into gyro, take flak, go back to his form, have the ags up, have all the agi up, and just get the hits off. And they also kind of allowed Moon to get his stable gold up. Like he didn't have the most int stolen for sure, but he hit the ags timing. Then just the last word AoE. We even saw at the later part in the high ground push, he did have his level 25. So he had it mute on top. Very balanced spell, and it's one of those things. SMG, they get to pick up some quirky picks once more. They flex the Bloodseeker. It did have a slower lane, but everything just kind of panned out in the end. And Polaris, it felt like they just sort of missed their timing once more.
That they certainly did, John. We are going to head to a short 15-minute break, and right after that break, we're going to be back with our next series of the night. I believe it is going to be Motivate Trust against YG. And I'm quite excited for this one because YG, they've been known to run these really wacky drafts, and in a new patch like this, I'm looking forward to seeing if they found anything that's very broken in this new patch that maybe they can abuse. We've been seeing it quite a lot from this team. Of course, Motivate Trust, they are also known to kind of do that, but they do tend to stay a bit more standard on their end of things. So roughly 15 minutes till we have that game number 1 up. Till then, it's MLP Dota and JohnXFire, and we'll see you all again very soon for game 1.